Hello and welcome to another session on the prerequisites of machine learning and data science. In this prerequisite session of Python, we'll be looking at modules, we'll be looking at math, JSON and date functions and also regular expressions, how to use them and how we can achieve certain kinds of functionalities using the functions from these libraries. So let's just go ahead and start having a look at what topics we are going to cover in detail. This session will cover creation of modules, how to use those modules in various other files, and also we'll look at the import math and math functions, import datetime and date related functions, and also we'll use import JSON and import RE, which stands for regex. So let's go ahead and start using each of these and see how we can accomplish different tasks. So as we progress forward into more critical and serious implementations, modules play a very vital role for us to save the kind of information that is required to be used in other files. So usually a module, you can call it nothing but a library of the code that we can use in other Python files. So suppose I'll create a module here. In that module, I will define two functions. Say I'll say definition, I'll say add, I'll say adder. Okay, so in this I'll give a1 comma a2. Okay, print a1 plus a2. This will return me the summation of the function. So I'll have another code here. I'll call it as subtractor, right? Definition subtraction a1 comma a2. Okay, print a1 minus a2. Okay, so these are the two set of code libraries that functions that I have defined, and these functions I will save it in a particular file. I will call it as, let me just create a folder on my desktop. I'll call it as module class. Okay, and I will say I will call it as my math module. Okay, and I will save it as a .py file, right? My module.py. Okay, now that this particular module file has been created, now let me just go ahead and create a new Python script that will use my math module and simply implement the code. So for that, first I need to import my math module. So for that I will use import space, I'll call it as my math module. Okay, so you can see that it already gives me the definition as to who created that math module and how you could use it. So I will use import my math module. Okay, and I will call a particular function, okay, out of this. So how do I do that? I give my math module dot, I have a function called adder. In that I'll have 10 and 20. So when I do this, what will happen? It will simply just go to my math module and there it will look at the adder function and perform the necessary operation. Okay, so let me just call it module test. Okay, so let me just execute this. Let's see how the result comes in. Okay, so now you can see as soon as I execute it, it gives me a total of 30 where I have called a 10 and 20. So where I added this. So similarly in my math module, right, I can use subtraction as well, right? Subtraction of 10 comma 20. So that will be a negative 10. Okay, So what it does, it reloads when it does an import, right? When you perform the import operation, it reloads the module and it performs the operation of -10. So this is how you can absorb, you can write modules consisting of your usual functions and everything, and you can import those functions, you can import those modules and perform the necessary operations. So logically, whenever you are writing huge Python codes or libraries, right, so this will be very useful for you. You can write simple modules and publish those modules in your organization for people to reuse your code as libraries. So suppose here the my math module code name is a little bit strong, right? It's a little bit long, so I can use an alias. I can give it as my, and I can just say my dot subscription. Okay, so here I gave import my math module as my, and when I do my dot subscription, it will perform the subtraction operation. So let me just go ahead and show it to you. So you can see here, you can also do my adder dot 10 comma 20 and execute it. It will reload the my math module, and then it will just perform the operation of adding these two numbers, which is actually prescribed in the user defined function that is present in the my math module. So this is a simple representation of how to create modules and how to use modules in your code to perform various operations. Okay, so now that we have seen the my math module being created and using those particular math module, Python natively provides you many modules that can be used for various activities. For example, you have a module for mathematical functions, you have modules for Json, and you have modules for regular expressions. So let me just open the sites and give you the link for it, and then I will show you how to use these modules. So the math module is available in docs.python.org in library math.html. So I'll paste the links of this module in the description. So this math module has multiple functions, and it has it has multiple items that it can enclose with. So you can find out the square root, you can find out the this thing, you can find out the remainder of a division, right? So and also you have exponential, log x functions, you have trigonometric functions, okay, and also you have the mathematical pi constant values available in this module, where pi is equal to 3.141 and e is approximately equal to 2.718. You have tau, infinity, and other modules available in the math library. So let's look at one example as to how to use this math library in our SPIDER IDE. So let me just go ahead and open my SPIDER IDE. Okay. So in order to import math module, so for in order to use the math function, so what we need to do is we need to do import math. Okay, so this is an existing function, existing library that is already present. Okay, so if I do math, okay, now you need to note one thing. Python is case sensitive, so you cannot use any function as it is. You need to use the exact library for the function. So suppose if I want to find out the power of x and y, so in order to achieve that, what I will do, okay, I will say print math dot power. Okay, the x is I'll say 2 power 2. We know that 2 power 2 is 4. So when we execute this particular math library function, you can obtain the necessary result. Let me just go ahead and execute it. So you can see it is returning the value of 4.0. Now that you are aware on how to import a library and then use the corresponding functions in the library or perform certain necessary actions in the library, So let me just go ahead and show you certain other libraries as well. So anyhow, you have the math library, and then you can also go for a JSON library. So what this JSON library does is that it gives you the ability to encode and decode JSON files. So pretty much the details about JSON, the basic usage of JSON is provided here. You can use that particular JSON decoder and encoder to encode your JSON or decode your JSON based on the necessary. Okay. So basically the JSON format that is specified is RFC 7159. This is a pretty much an international standard. So you can actually encode and decode JSON the way you need. So the module anyhow, it supports an infinite number n number of values. Okay, they are accepted. So even the repeated names with an object are accepted. So this is how you can go through the usage of JSON. I would strongly recommend you to read this and run it through, because I think basically to use a particular library related functions, if I start going through each one of them, it would probably take another 10-15 sessions, and I would like to proceed with other important topics as well. But please go through this JSON. I'll provide you the link for this JSON library in the video description. So apart from that, you have the regular expressions operability. Again, this regular expressions, we know that regular expressions are used to evaluate in general scenarios, they are used to evaluate the structure of a particular string or a particular file that is provided. So here it gives you a brief description of what are the individual pattern sets of regular expression. I would recommend that each of you go through the regular expression library once, see what are all the regular expressions that are available. So that way, what will happen is that you will have a clear cut idea as to how these regular expressions work. Okay, so basically regular expressions also, they have certain additional functions like ignore case and all. Let me just show you. So what this ignore case does is that here it will ignore whether it's a capital A to Z or a small a to Z. It will take them as to the same ones. So if you do re.I, it will do an ignore case there. Okay, so just go through these libraries and see what functions you can use, how to import a library, and how to use a particular function inside a library. I have already shown you that, so please use that as a reference and go through these and try out some of the examples given in the Python library. So basically, whenever I talk to people about implementation, I always recommend them to read the product documentation instead of going for third-party documentations, because product documentations are very thorough and they tend to be more accurate than third-party documentations. Okay, so this concludes our understanding about different libraries, modules, how to import them, how to use them. I've shown you custom modules, how you can create modules with user-defined functions, and how can you use those functions in other Python files, and also use some I also showed you the 3 standard libraries that are present in the Python environment. Okay, so they go through these 3, and starting from next session we will go through file handling, we'll go through PIPs and all. So I hope you are having fun learning these. So but before you go through the next sessions, I would strongly recommend that you go through these things. The link will be provided in the video description. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also please click the bell icon to receive notifications about my latest videos.